And we are wrestling with WWE Elimination Chamber. It was last Saturday. It took place in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, at the Bell Center. 17,271 in attendance. I believe that was a sold out arena. Um, and yeah, this was probably one of the most liveliest crowds they've had in quite some time. The only thing I could really compare it to was CM Punk in Chicago for Money in the Bank. It's had that type of feel to it. Um, that being said, um, honestly, quite predictable, but still enjoyable. That's how I would say the show went. But what say you, Scooter?
Yeah, it was it was 100% predictable.
What say you, Felica?
I think it was predictable in who would win. It wasn't predictable in how they would win. And that's the matter. Because, I mean, everybody knew Daniel Bryan was winning at WrestleMania 30. It was just a matter of how it was going to happen. What obstacles were going to pop up. And that's the part that was the unpredictable part. And it was a lot to do. It was really enjoyable. Like, honestly, for a premium live event, I think that was the first one where it really wasn't a filler match. Nothing where it was like, oh yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom for this. And that's the first time in a minute for WWE.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. Alright, let's get into it. Asuka defeated Carmella, Liv Morgan, Natalia, and Nikki Cross, and Raquel Gonzalez in an Elimination Chamber match uh, to become the number one contender for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania in 19 minutes and 30 seconds. Like I said, pretty predictable, but it was still a good match, and the right person won. Scooter, your thoughts?
Called it.
I believe we all
Uh,
had Asuka.
yeah, but my opinion means more. Uh, I mean, what else can you say aside from this? Really was this was the natural progression of the storyline based on everything that's been happening. I mean, Bianca spent a lot of the year on the side of Alexa Bliss and Asuka,
Correct.
and then Alexa turns, goes up against her, and then Asuka comes back as Kana, and thinking about what really could be a real WrestleMania match, and it's Bianca now against Asuka. Now, keep in mind, Bianca tried numerous times in NXT to beat Asuka.
I don't think they were at the same time in
Yes, they
NXT.
were. They absolutely were.
They were, but Asuka was on the tail end of leaving
Yeah,
of her
yeah.
dominant run.
When Bianca wasn't really considered like really in the title picture until the end of Asuka's run when they were running out of challengers for her.
Right, like Ember Moon. When Ember got it and Shayna got it, that was when Bianca was kind of like next up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. And Kaliko, your thoughts on the match?
Um, it was pretty. It was solid. It was solid. Liv looked strong.
Liv looked good, just in her attire to begin with.
I mean, yeah, she looks good, but she looked strong in the sense that she didn't tap. She passed out. So I thought that was a good way of protecting her from the loss. It doesn't take any damage from her. Carmella had a hell of a showing. If you had told me Carmella would have lasted longer than Raquel Gonzalez, I would have said you smoking crack.
I believe Raquel was the. No, she wasn't the last. She
No,
was
it
second
was
to last.
Carmella.
Yeah.
So I mean, and to me, it 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 made sense. I mean, Oscar winning made sense because Bianca is coming off as this dominant champion, and she needs to go through. She went through the people where we thought she would win, right? Now she's going through the people where it's a little in doubt. Like Alexa may not have been in doubt as much, but Asuka is damn sure in doubt, and Asuka is looking for the one thing that she didn't get, a WrestleMania victory.
Yes.
So it is. I like the story because now it's Asuka trying to get redemption from losing, and considering that her losses were to Charlotte, which I guess is Charlotte, but Rhea Ripley, which is one of those new generation chicks that were popping off a couple years ago. I think she's gonna have an extra little oomph in her preparation and match, if you will. This has a chance to be a show stealing match
Oh yeah.
because it's a contrast of strength versus striking in a sense.
She might be the EST, but she might not be ready for Asuka.
Oh my god! And then when freaking Asuka was spitting up blue blood like little Muda style, I was like, oh shit, she about this life, fam. She ready to kamikaze for this bitch.
Oh, Scooter. How many stars you give this match?
I'll give it 3.
Kaliko?
3.5 because everybody understood the assignment.
Um, I'll give it 4, and for Liv Morgan's outfit alone, 5.
Jesus.
Bobby Lashley defeated Brock Lesnar by disqualification in 4 minutes and 45 seconds. They're kind of throwing us a curveball with almost challenging Lesnar at Mania, but there's no way this doesn't go to WrestleMania. Lesnar and Lashley, right, Scooter?
Uh, well, considering that they're kind of pairing off now, it's very weird because now you kind of have. It looks like it's gonna be Bray and Lashley, and they have Brock Lesnar answering a challenge from Omos on Raw.
Which makes no sense.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, we could talk about the match. What did you think about the match, even though it lasted, what, 4 minutes?
Eh, it wasn't as good as the Royal Rumble match
That it was not.
or their Crown Jewel match, or was it? Yeah.
Yeah. Galiko, your thoughts?
That match wasn't about the match, to be quite honest. Or at least that's the way that I interpret it. It was just about trying to kick each other's ass. And I thought that it was going to continue because of the fact when they put him in the hurt lock and Lesnar kicked him in the, you know where, that was a story arc that they could kind of go with. Like, oh, motherfucker, you only kicked out because you knew I could hold your ass. And it's never been a point where it could, like, anyone could hold Brock like that, right?
Yeah.
But I'm thinking this is a swerve to get the Hurt Business back together.
Hmm. That's right. They've been
Because
teasing it.
you say what?
They've been teasing it.
It's getting teed because you see MVP working backstage with a couple with Sid and Sheldon in the back, and then he's got Omos and Lashley's the final piece. He's the final piece. So it could be something where Omos challenges Lesnar. Lesnar takes the L due to the Hurt Business coming back together, which is what the people want because the biggest shock value would be not Lesnar losing, but the Hurt Business back together beating the shit out of Brock. And it gives them something to start off with. So let's say they beat the shit out of Brock at Mania. It kind of gives them this platform to try to run roughshod on the Raw side, depending on how this bloodline thing goes.
Scooter, how many stars would you give this one?
2, and I think I'm being generous.
Kaliko?
2.5 because it was just about whooping each other's ass. Brock doesn't get paid by the hour, you know.
That he does not. I'll give it 2.5 as well. Alright, Edge and Beth Phoenix defeated the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley, in a mixed tag match in 13 minutes and 50 seconds. This did exactly what needed to do. Be the feel-good Montreal moment that everybody wanted it to be.
Except it wasn't the Montreal moment everybody wanted.
Well, it's the one they
That is
got, damn it.
so goddamn true. That is so goddamn true.
Scooter, your thoughts on the match?
I mean, there's really nothing else you could say. This was cut and dry from the beginning. I mean, would it have been a little bit more interesting if Ray and Dominic were involved and Ray refused to actually wrestle his son? And yet Edge and Beth could still pull out the victory? But other than that, I mean, it shouldn't have been. And I'm not sure if I'm the only one who's like, it's kind of awkward it was kind of awkward to see. Oh, I'm the leader of the Judgment Day. And it's going to be me and Rhea Ripley.
Why are you using your Sheamus impression?
It's Irish. They're both Irish.
Okay. Kaliko, your thoughts?
Feel good moment. Uh, yeah, it was all for Edge for the feel good. Rhea, man, Rhea. Mm-mm. But she looked good. She made everybody look good. Um, she didn't take the pin. It protected her. looks like this story with Edge and Judgment Day is not over. Which I mean, you kind of want it to be, but this gives Edge something to do in the story, and a story that's meaningful. It's kind of like killing the kids that he created type deal, but you know, it's gonna. We got to see where it goes to ahead at.
Scooter, how many stars do you give this one?
Uh, uh, 3.5.
Kaliko?
3.5. He sounds about right.
I'll give it 3.5 as well. Alright, Elimination Chamber for the United States Championship. Austin Theory defeated Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano, Montez Ford, and Seth freaking Rollins in 31 minutes and 30 seconds. Not exactly the match I thought it was gonna be, for obvious reasons, but, I mean, I feel like it did what it needed to do. We're getting Seth Rollins and Logan Paul at WrestleMania, apparently. Um, and yeah, just, another Elimination Chamber match in the books. Scooter.
Uh, yeah, I mean, oh yeah, yeah. I'm of the belief that I'm of the belief that you know if it's elimination chamber, then the matches, the highlight should be about the elimination chambers. I mean, for God's sakes, uh, have all the matches, have all the titles be on the line in chamber matches. I mean, for God's sakes, oh boy, and this is what happens when you book yourself into such a corner that you can't even believe that you could come up with somebody who could be champion. Because remember, when the reign started on August 30th, 2020, nobody had Cody Rhodes in mind to be the one to potentially end it.
Well, I mean, Royal Rumble is supposed to be about the Royal Rumble, right? But the main event, and a couple of the main events of the Royal Rumble were, a title match instead of, the actual Royal Rumble match. So I mean, it's not out of the realm that if the matches don't really work, if
Yeah, I
if the
mean,
title match is more important, then yeah.
I mean, the, the U.S. title should never have been uh should never
In
have
the
been.
chamber. I get what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, that might have been the best time
To split it.
to take put the tag titles and take the belts off the Usos.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, they're now having their products, but they're still champions. Like back in the day, this would be cause for them to vacate the titles.
I mean, but he did show up for the match that he was scheduled to have. So But I get what you mean. They just needed an elimination chamber match, cut and dry. Kaliko, your thoughts on the match?
Um, Montez Ford showed his ass off in this match. Uh, he was definitely one of the breakout stars of that match. Um, the Seth Rollins Logan Paul thing, it's a nice little punch to set up the WrestleMania match. And it helps Theory because he beats Seth. Helps Seth because he could say, "Hey, this motherfucker came in and did whatever." And And to Scooter's point, man, they fucked that up last year. When it was title for title, one to take all, I was like, oh shit, here we go. Because either we were gonna be stuck with it was a lose lose either way. Either Brock was gonna have all the belts or Roman was gonna have all the belts. It was a lose lose either way. It's a catch 22. Um, I just kind of wish that Lashley got the rematch, but okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Um, because a that would have been a better way to get the Hurt Business back together to be like, hey, Lashley's the champion. Let's keep our brother the champion. Ta-da! But but hey, I don't know this shit. Um, but overall, back to the original point. Yeah, it was a solid match. It was solid. It did what it was supposed to do with some good spots, and Ford showed up. So
Scooter, your how many stars?
Yes, 3.5.
Kaliko?
four.
Uh, I'll give it 3.5 as well. All right, and now the main event, the match everybody wanted to see, the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns retained by defeating Sami Zayn in 32 minutes and 20 seconds. It's funny how the the title match was longer than the two Elimination Chamber matches, but I digress. Um, but yeah, it was everything it needed to be. Roman was completely hated. Everybody was behind Sammy. It was a CM Punk in Chicago type feel. Um, without the rioting because they're Canadian, so they're too polite for that. And yeah, just solid. Did what it needed to do. Didn't offend the fans. Didn't make them want Sammy more than they already did, which is a plus because obviously we're going in the direction of Cody. Um, but yeah, just those were my thoughts. What say you, Scooter?
This was. It was. It was. It was great. I mean, it it it, it got people to think. Like, can Sammy, this scrawny guy who could barely get over anywhere else after spending so many months with the bloodline, could be seen as having learned so much from him that he's using it against him and making Sammy look like a legit threat. And to me, this match has permanently upgraded Sammy's status as a top of the card star, even main eventer.
Okay. What say you, Kaliko?
From a storytelling point, this and this is in the match only. From a storytelling point, this match is the match of the year. And it's because it made Roman look vulnerable. It made him because the arc with Roman was that yeah he was hated, but you could also see like disappointment in his face that he felt betrayed by Sammy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's getting to the point where the king is going to end up alone because his emotions were getting the best of him, and that's why it was great, and that's why I gave Sammy the puncher's chance because it wasn't Roman the wrestler that was in question. It was Roman the man and his emotions that needed to be in check, and he's never had to deal with in years. I'd say what the Shield broke up 10 years ago,
Uh, to 2000,
damn near 10 years ago.
yeah,
So
May 2014.
yeah, so he's never had to deal with that betrayal. And to be quite honest, even when he left, even when the Shield turned on, when Seth turned on, he never dealt with it. But this was different because it was family, and it felt like and I know people might give me flack for this. You know how like when you have a it felt like Christopher Columbus coming in and fucking up the Samoans. It felt that way, and it felt like the chief of his tribe was disappointed that he allowed it to happen, and
Right.
he was willing to do anything to get over to get through it. And Sammy for all intents and purposes, took full on advantage and damn near got the win. But and I'll tell you how it gave me the Pocahontas. That's what I was gonna. It gave me the Pocahontas vibes because you remember when he was about to smack him with that chair and Jay popped in and saved him.
Yeah.
That was Pocahontas vibes, yo. That was like some Pocahontas John Smith shit. straight, straight the fuck up. And
So,
it worked.
wait, so you're calling
Jay
who
Pocahontas?
Jay's Pocahontas? So Jay is the uh, uh, 14-year-old girl that he wants to marry.
Pretty much. But 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 it worked. It from it's like I there's not going to be another match on this year's docket that will deal with the psychology and the storytelling of this match. Point blank period.
I mean, we're still soon
So if
in the year, but yeah, I could definitely agree with that.
and then Owens comes out so yeah, this thing was just everything it was supposed to be and then some. Like I was sitting at home, like on my couch, like, oh shit, Jay with the Pocahontas save. Then his brother comes out with the fuck it, I'm gonna beat that ass. So I was all on it. I was on it. It was hooked. I was hooked.
Scooter, how many stars do you give this one?
4.5.
Kaliko?
5. Or could I go Meltzer? 10? 28? Whatever he calls.
Damn, you're going the Meltzer route. Alright.
I mean, the story was so good. Because the story is what sold it. The story sells it. That is what wrestling is at its peak. I can't. You can't. No one can deny that.
No, you're absolutely right about that. I'll give it 4.5. It would have been 5 if Sammy won.
Yep.
Fuck out of here. Sammy won. Bro, I thought Sammy was going to win. I dead ass. Dead ass, I thought he was going to win. He
No,
kicked out of that spear. I was like, oh shit, he might. And I told y'all that. I was like, it's because the arrogance of Roman. And you could tell when he lost, when he got the pin and he looked at Sammy after the match, you could see the disappointment in his face. Like,
but
motherfucker, I trusted you.
no,
And this is what you do to me.
I
Which,
we talked about this after we were off air. I mean, you wanted to take a flight down to Montreal to watch that match.
no
Um,
shit.
but
Passport, bro.
I mean, I knew that Sammy wasn't gonna win. I don't think a lot of people thought that he. I mean, some people thought he should win, obviously, but I don't think a lot of people felt he was going to, for obvious reasons. But no, if he would have, if Cody wasn't in this situation, it would have been a different scenario. But Cody is, so he didn't get that. But I mean, again, it was a great moment for him in Montreal.
You know, what this reminded me of? Hold on, because I have to take a look at where. Okay. This reminded me of No Way Out 2004.
Right. And I mean, the only reason Eddie won that match is because Lesnar was leaving the next month.
Yep.
Roman's not going anywhere.
Ah, damn it, Roman. All you had to do was leave.
Seems like that's what it's gonna take nowadays. Alright, the soul as a whole. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. Scudo.
It's very rare that one match can sway my opinion. Thumbs up.
Kaliko. And we lost Kaliko. If he was even here to begin with.
I said thumbs up. God damn it, I'm sitting here talking to myself. I'm, I'm sitting up here like Montreal's the MVP. Thumbs up.
I also give it a thumbs up. Alright, that will conclude our coverage of Elimination Chamber and this episode as a whole. I think next week is AEW, right? Yeah, it's on the 5th.
Yeah.
So we'll
Yeah.
have a preview of all things blood and guts. I mean AEW. Oh,
You sure it's not ICU?
yes. Sponsored by no, nothing. Um, if
Sponsored by ER.
Sponsored by Clotting.
I mean, they should get a fucking sponsorship from Band Aid.
I Yeah. For the blood Red Cross, where they donate
Yeah,
the
the Red
blood.
Cross. The United Blood Bank Association of America.
There you
Thanks
go.
for letting us to use this blood that you were storing for people that actually needed it in our wrestling matches.
Yeah.
For real. The Red Cross. No shit. The Red
That's
Cross presents AEW ICU.
I see. You know how they say spell I cup. No, well here it's ICU bleed.
I know ICU bleed live.
hypothetically speaking, how many quarts of blood do you think Jon Moxley could have donated from just the amount of bleeding that he's bled?
Well, considering that the average human being is filled with 10 pints,
10 pints?
which would make that
10
two and a
gallons?
half,
No, I'm just.
2.5 quarts.
Yeah, he could be like
What
owner of the year.
one 1.25 gallons. Um, I mean, and the human body can function on only half of that. So I'd say, yeah, he'll be at as long as he doesn't lose 49% of this blood, it'll be good.
I mean, if you know how John Cena's like the ambassador of the Make a Wish, he literally could be the ambassador of Red Cross.
I mean, you see Moxley going around to children's hospitals, handing them out, customizable razor blades.
God.
Make a death wish.
Or we'll put you in a Death Rider.
The Make a Death Wish Foundation.
Oh God, no.
Oh no, no.
Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. Um, Join us this Tuesday and Wednesday as we interview Eli Sorge and Nova. Follow us at Wrestling with E both on Twitter and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. You can follow me personally at JamesShay993. Where can we find Kaliko?
I'm Kaliko. That's where you'll find me. That's about it. That's all I got after the Make a Death.
Well, nobody remembers the skit from In Living Color?
Yes, I do. I remember it. That's how I was like, that's all like no. But then again, In Living Color was out before James was born, so you gotta give him some slack.
Yeah, that's true.
I know what In Living Color is.
No, the OG, not before when they added out that new motherfucker.
Yeah, with Jamie Foxx and the otherwise known as the Wayans family business.
Pretty much.
And where can we
Before
find
Jim
Twitter?
Carrey got too big for his britches, and when J Lo was like, "Hey ho,"
and while Rosie Perez never went anywhere else. Find me on Twitter. That's Goo Dust. Remix again, still up in the air. Have to wait and see. And tonight, the final episode of the Dungeons and Dragons campaign, Corticus Tarkin. See how this adventure pans out over on Twitch, along with Rico Constantino Jr. and the rest of the Smoking Dragons clan, twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons. Also, special announced crossover show with both campaigns being ran by the Smoke of Dragons on March 1st.
Alright, for Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James Shea, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.